Hello and welcome to the Green Room with Monique McDonald. I am so happy that you're here. I'm coming in to you today from Los Angeles, and I am on the road having an amazing time. I am so glad that you're here. I want to let you know that you can also join me in the green room on Zoom at 1:30 Eastern Time, and you'll find the link below, or 10:30 Pacific, since I'm in Pacific time now. And I just want to welcome all of you to the green room. I am so excited about this new green room where I get to meet all of you. This is for speakers and entrepreneurs who want to use speaking to grow their business. And when I was an opera singer singing all over the world, after the show, we would meet in the green room if you had the backstage pass, if you were a VIP and invited. And I want all of you to know that you are invited to the green room with Monique. I can't wait to hear your questions, your comments, your ahas about what we're going to be discussing today. So, again, you'll find the link here below. And you can also go to the magneticvoice.com/transform, and you'll find the link to the green room on Zoom there as well, along with some other goodies that I have for you on my website, themagneticvoice.com. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are going to be discussing something that most of my clients deal with, I myself have dealt with, and a lot of very successful people deal with this issue. It is imposter syndrome. So I'm going to read to you a few quotes and see if you can guess who said this. The first one is, I have written 11 books, but each time I think, uh-oh, they're going to find out now. I've run a game on everybody, and they're going to find me out. I bet it would be difficult to know who this is. I can tell you it really surprised me. This quote is from the amazing Maya Angelou. Can you imagine that this woman who has had such an effect on the conscious universe at large would have these thoughts? Okay, the second quote I want to read to you today. Why would anyone want to see me again in a movie? And I don't know how to act anyway, so why am I doing this? If you can believe it, that is the quote from Meryl Streep, the person in the universe who has gotten the most Academy Awards. I think she holds the record. And yet, she had moments of imposter syndrome. So, why is it important for us to understand that these two great women, and I'm sure they're men too, I just didn't find any quotes from the men, but that these two great women also dealt with imposter syndrome? I think this is important to know because so often I think we feel alone in this. When we have these feelings of, who am I to be doing this? Or why would anybody want to listen to me? Or, you know, I'm going to get up in front of people and talk about my business. Why would anybody listen to me? even if you've achieved a lot, there are many, many of us who feel that we are still surprised that people want to hear what we have to say. And as my business mentor, Imana Guy, says when talking about this issue, when you find yourself asking, who am I to be doing this? Remember, you are the person that's doing it. You are doing it. And I know that for myself, when I bumped up against this, I I just kept reframing it in my own mind. And I realized that the more I stepped outside of my comfort zone, the more I was stepping into more visibility, more often being seen and heard, bigger stages when I was singing opera, bigger contracts where I was paid more money. This always came. And what I discovered was that this is not something to avoid. These thoughts, these feelings of imposter syndrome are not something to avoid. They are something to make friends with. So now when I have these thoughts or these feelings come up for myself, I think to myself, "Oh, I must be doing something really important. I must be really growing," because it's usually when we are speaking in front of people, when we are stretching ourselves, our souls, that these thoughts and ideas come up. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 5 different ways that imposter syndrome can show up. This first one I have very personal experience with. It is the perfectionist. As a classical musician, I mean, we would practice and practice and practice, and we wouldn't even show it to our coaches until it was as close to perfect as we could get. and and this idea of always looking for things to go perfectly, when you're in that mindset, even the slightest errors are considered failure. Even the slightest errors or mistakes are considered failure, which can lead to feelings of shame and guilt. And I just want to share, I was on stage working on, my first starring role at Juilliard, and my acting teacher would always talk about, if you make a mistake or you drop a line, that's the biggest gift you can get. And I would look at him like this, wait, what? And he would say, because then you have to go to your imagination and your focus just locks in and you become all cylinders go, because you're not going by rote anymore. You have to invent. And that's when the magic happens. So, all you speakers out there who are dealing with this perfectionism, just know when things go wrong, that's actually a gift. Okay, the second way that imposter syndrome can show up is the superhero. We base our success on how many different roles we play: parent, partner, boss, sister, coach, daughter. And if we don't play them all perfectly, we feel like a fraud. And when you think about that, most of us are wearing a bunch of different hats in life. And it is impossible to play them all perfectly. We need to just breathe and be. And be aware when we're shifting from one role to the next, and embrace it and love it, because part of the discomfort is caused because we don't realize we've changed hats, right? We've changed roles. The other one that is very common amongst my clients is the expert, who seeks to know everything and never feels like they're ready until they're super ready. They get ready to get ready. And in the face of even the slightest lack of knowledge about something, they feel like a fraud, and they feel like people are going to think they're stupid, or that they are not valuable because they haven't educated themselves on any and every little thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely believe in being prepared and educating yourself and warming to passionately pursuing your subject and whatever you're an expert in. However, please let yourself off the hook, because you don't have to know everything to be ready. Be ready. Because whatever you have, whatever you know, when you share it from your heart, there's always someone that can use what you have to offer. So you may not be a PhD, but you've lived life and you have experiences that you have to offer people. And this is another one that's very common in my world: the natural genius. The natural genius has innate talent. They're naturally in their zone of genius. And very often it doesn't count because they didn't work hard. They didn't educate themselves in order to have it. And they have an expectation that they're going to meet high goals quickly and effortlessly. And when things are difficult, they feel very ashamed. And they don't value their natural genius because it comes from just being who they are. And very often that feels like not enough. And the last one I want to address today is the soloist. I also suffer from this one often. The soloist needs to do things alone, and asking for help is interpreted as a sign of weakness or failure. So, what to do when these five different, and some of us have all of them at different times, right? When these things pop up, what's the best way to deal with them? So, first of all, I invite you to get super aware. Know when you've gone into "I'm not good enough," or that voice, or just be aware when imposter syndrome is rearing its head. Know that you're not alone. Know that even the greatest of us experience questioning, who am I to be doing this? Let go of perfectionism, please. Just put it down. Perfectionism is a game you can't win. Be gentle and kind with yourself when you're having this experience. Turn the self talk around into loving tones and positive, energetic thoughts and self talk. Treat yourself as though you were the most adored child that needs encouragement and to know that they're loved. Track your success. This is something that really helped me. I started to write down all of my wins, all of the things that I did. And sometimes I it was my mother who would say, "Do you realize that you did blah 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 blah?" Because we're so used to focusing on what went wrong or what didn't go well, we sometimes miss our victories. And most important, talk with a trusted friend or mentor when you feel these feelings coming upon you, because they lose power when you speak them outside of yourself. Once you say it out loud and it gets out of your head, all of a sudden you're putting light on it so that it can't go underground and cause havoc. And finally, I hope for you that you will learn to embrace the feeling of imposter syndrome as your friend, as an indicator that you are stepping into greatness. Thank you so much for listening. Please join me in the green room on Zoom at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific. I look forward to hearing about you and the ways that imposter syndrome might be hindering your growth and your stepping into the magnificence that you are. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.